Hello, I'm Eric. I'm about to make a Indian myna trap to hopefully catch the mynas and or starlings, which are both menaces, particularly the mynas. They are a particularly bad bird to have around. They displace our native birds. Now this is the trap as it will be when you finish it, we hope. You will need a 25mm by 25mm cage mesh, which is probably available from a hardware store. You can buy it in 5-metre lengths or 30-metre lengths. But if you're lucky to have a store around town who will cut it for you, you'll need at least 3.25 metres. As well as the mesh, you will need a little bit of 1.25 tie wire or some tie wire that's easily to bend. A perch to put in the trap, little tin for water, and a bottle to put in that. We'll go into that a bit later on and show how that's all set up. As well as that, you will need pliers, particularly side cutters. Pointy pliers I find the most useful, and combination pliers are handy to have as well. Now the trap, as you can see, is in two sections. They are clipped together with little wire clips. The idea is to feed the birds in this smaller, lower section. I suggest putting feed around the outside. There's two entrances, one each side, but put feed on the ground around the outside and in the lower section, smaller section. The birds go in there and then hopefully can't get out, and eventually find their way up through these corners into the big higher section. This is what we call a valve. That's where they come from the small section into there and up into the main holding area. Now this is all the little pieces that you will need later on. We've got them all colour coded. We've got the entrances there are white. That's the part, that little entrance there, that's the white bits. The yellow pieces here are the main part of the valve. That's the valve in there, that's the yellow part. The main part of that. The valve has three pieces attached to it, these two blue ones and two black ones, one for each. The valve body is that yellow one, that's this rounded part here. The valve cover is this piece here, which comes up and then will bend over there a bit later on. And the valve base is the black ones. We need one for each. So the actual valve is made up of three different pieces of wire. Now this is the wire that the whole trap is made out of. When you're making this trap, you will need a block of wood or something, a corner of a table, something that you can bend it over. I'm pretty fortunate here that I've got a truck body to bend mine over on. But if you could work out some way of bending it at 90 degrees. Now we count along 16 squares from the selvage. I've got a stick which is 16 squares long, and then I put that on the corner of the, in my case, truck, and bend it down. Then pull it along a bit further, another 16 squares, and bend that down. Another 16 squares. And bend that down. Another 16 squares. And cut it off, leaving the spikes on the part that you've just bent. So we cut that off along there. Now, having cut that out, you join it up there and just double it around. Probably do one in each end in the middle to start with. And then proceed then to do all these, the whole lot right through. I use my fingers to start with and then finish it off with the pliers and pull it around tightly, and making sure that these points lay parallel with one of these other wires. This is so that the birds don't hurt themselves on it. Just keep on going right down the side like this. Now we've got to cut out the ends of the trap. So that means another 16 squares plus 1. So that makes 17 squares. Ah, no, that's wrong. That's the size we want for the piece we need later. This time we need 17 squares plus spikes. That is cut in the 18th square. Now, that is the top of the main body of the trap that you've just made. Now we've got to cut off the outside wire right around so that it will end up looking like that one, which has got it all cut off. Now that's the top that goes on the cage which we just made. So we set it up there with the spikes sticking out past, and then double them, fold them round over. Now we put this on. Now it's all in one piece at the moment, put it on at least 3 sides. And then having put that on there temporarily, or started to put it on, we can now cut that off, leaving spikes sticking out over the side of the trap. Now that's the piece for the other end of the body. Cut off that selvage along there. And put it on this end of the main body. Going round, doubled around all the way, and pull down and tuck down beside one of those other wires. Or if you've got time, you can wrap it round and round and round until there's no points left. Okay, and continue that on right round the trap so that you've got the complete body with ends on it. Now, having tied the top and bottom onto the body of the trap, we've now got a nice, well, body cube, call it what you like. We've got to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 wires from the top, and then we cut underneath that 12th wire. We cut that around, halfway around the trap. Now, having got halfway round, we've been cutting underneath that 12th wire. We now drop to the bottom of that square and cut the other half at the bottom of that square. Now that's given us our 2 sections of the trap now, and they'll end up like that. We've now got to make 2 entrances and 2 valves to go in the body of the trap. Now we've got this piece of wire, so we count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares from the side and cut up along that one there, leaving the 2 top ones intact. Then we leave 2 complete squares and do the same from the bottom up. And then that gives us the wire for our entrance. Where we've cut it up, we then bend it up each side, and I usually just hook it on the end there to hold it in position. Then we turn it over. Better if you cut all the wires. Now, we've got to bend this centrepiece down a bit. Now I find if you bend it from the top up here, it will bend down nice and straight. Bend it down, leaving one complete square plus the spikes above it, and bend that around there, and likewise on that side. And then we come back to this other end and we go 1, 2, 3. The third cut wire should mesh up with a corner there. We bend that over. Bending all of these over and down. Turn around the other side, do likewise. Now we've got to cut off this extra piece. We don't need all of that. So we carefully cut it up there as close as we can, and then cut it underneath, just underneath that wire there. Long. Then bend these wires down and press them up nice and tight to hold together. Now, you can leave all these on if you want to, and they'll fasten onto the bottom of the trap, but you don't need to. I usually cut off one, leave the first one, then cut off 1, 2, 3, leave one, cut off 1, 2, 3, and that leaves you with 3 spikes on either side to fasten it to the bottom of the trap. And that bit sticking out there is no good, so it can be cut off too. And that leaves you with the entrance. Now bend these in just a little bit, which makes it harder for the birds to get back out. Okay, you will do that with the other one so that you've got 2 of these to go in the trap when it's finished. Now, having made the entrances, we've now got to make the valves. Now, you've already cut out this piece of wire. If it's still got a piece on the, what we call it, the short side, we need spikes on both sides. Plus, that's the long side. Now this one, you've got to bend it around a bottle, a rolling pin, or if you haven't got anything round like that, you can do it across your shin, just to get the start of a semicircle on it. Then you can squeeze it down, right? Then we've got the cover, which you've already cut out from that blue one over there. Now you measure, count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares from the selvage side of that, and put this valve cover in there and wire it in. And round onto the other side and do likewise, making sure that you're still 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, now we've got the valve base, which is the black one that we cut out earlier. It goes on the selvage end of this. Just put it across like that. Double those up. Double those two round. Right. Good. Oh, we've got some more up here to do yet. Couple them around. Okay, now having put those on, we've got to narrow this top down a bit. So we take it and looking at it, we've got the 2 centre ones there we want to leave complete. So we cut down on the outside wire of that one, and the outside wire of that one. Now pull those in until that, my hands are in the road. Double those around. Right. Now these spikes that are up here, bend them out a little bit. That makes it harder for the birds to get back out again. And the actual cover here, we bend it over, what would you say, roughly 45 degrees. The spikes on the end of it, bend them down a little bit so that they're running approximately parallel to the base of the trap, or the floor of the base of the valve, or the floor of the trap, roughly. And that's about it. When we cut off these, we've got all these spikes out here that we don't need. And we don't need that one sticking up there. Being careful not to cut the rest of it off. Now we can cut off these. You can leave those and hook all of them onto the wall of the cage if you want to, but I normally cut off one, leave the first one, cut off 1, 2, 3, leave one, cut off 1, 2, 3, 4 on that side, leave the first one, cut off 1, 2, 3, leave one, cut off 1, 2, 3, and then you've got your valve ready to put into the trap. Having made our entrances and valves, we've now got to put them in the cage. So we take the bottom smaller section and count in 1, 2, 3 full squares from one side and place the valve, the entrance rather, in the bottom of the cage and just hook it around. So that's in 3 squares from the outside. Then count 1, 2, 3 squares and put the other half, the other wall of the entrance down that, so that it's got 3 squares in from the side and 3 squares in the actual entrance itself. And hook that on. Then we come around and do the opposite side of that small section and do the same with this, so that it's in the opposite side of the trap, counting in 3 squares again, putting it in. Right, now with your pliers, pull these round nice and tight and lay the pointed bit in along the base there where it's out of the road. Okay, now that having put the entrances in there, we've now got to put the valves in the higher, larger bit. So we take a big piece and we count up 7 wires from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And put the bottom of the valve on that 7th wire. Switch it round. Now that should give you, that should coincide. We better put this in properly and then we'll go on. Do the same with this other one, put it up 7 from the bottom. Now, having just put the valves in, we've got to open up a hole so that they can get from one section to the other. So we cut, leaving the bottom wire, and cut 1, 2, 3, 4 wires up on either side. And then cut, it'd be easy, leaving spikes on the bottom, cut underneath the first square up, across, and then down from where the entrance is on the valve there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we should get a piece like that out of it. I'll do the other side while we're at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That piece can be put aside. Right, now we've got some spikes there to double down along the side. Right. Now we've got to, we'll take the 2 centre spikes here and double them up around the bottom of the valve cover. Now we don't need these other spikes, so they can be just cut off out of the road. Right. Now that's that. Now we better go back and cut the hole in the entrances. So we've got our entrance sitting there, 3 in from the side. We cut the first one right beside that wire there, the second one, the third one, then along the top, leaving spikes to double around the top of that, and then come down 1, 3 and 5, and then come back up, cut 1, 2, 1, 2, and that, when I cut the bottom bits, that should come out. So you end up with a piece like that taken out. The same for the other one. One, 2, 1, 2, and a piece like that. Now we bend those wires around to hold the entrance in the right place. having put the entrances and valves in, we've now got to put tops on these two sections. So you've got a piece of wire that we cut earlier, which was 16 squares plus spikes. So we take it, and on the top of the big part, we'll say, you'll find you've got spikes sticking up on two sides and selvage on two sides. So take the piece of wire we're putting on and put the two selvages in the corner of where the spikes are sticking up, so that we can wrap the spikes around the piece of wire that we're putting in. Now on the other two sides we've got spikes on the top piece sticking out over the trap. So we take them and we bend those spikes down around now. Always put this wire on the trap before you cut it to size, because the odds are if you try to cut it to size before you put it on, it'll be cut in the wrong place. So having put that on there now, we can now cut this piece off to go on the other section. So we cut it off, leaving spikes on the sticking out over the edge of the big part. You can go around and finish tying those off. Then this piece goes on the small section, similar to before. You've got spikes sticking up on two sides, so the selvage of this top piece goes on beside the spikes that are sticking up. Likewise, you've got spikes sticking out over the side, so they get bent down around there. Now you'll notice you've got quite a bit of overhang here, so we cut that off, leaving spikes on the top section. We're cutting two full sections, two complete squares off, right across the top. Now hang on to that piece of wire, you will need that a bit later on. You can just go on and finish tying those off. Okay, well, you should have a piece of wire like that you've cut out for the door. Cut off all these spikes and the corners of it, so that you end up with a piece of wire like that, with the square piece of wire 9 by 9 with the corner pieces cut out. And then you bend that over something, bend that down. I usually do it on there, never mind. should also have a piece of wire, 7 squares by 7 squares. Put it in the middle of that, the one that you've just bent the sides up on. And then press these sides down flat over the 7 by 7. And tap them down with a hammer or something. Right, now there is your door now, ready for in a minute when we get around to putting it in. Now, having the smaller section all ready to hook onto the big one, we've got to cut holes out to match these holes here where the valves are, which will be in the corners of one side, making sure that it's not the sides with the entrances in. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then come in there, leaving 1 full square plus spikes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bend that down, cut under there and under there. Bend those back. This is all done leaving as much on as you can to reinforce round doors and entrances and holes and places. Bend those two down, cut, leave 1 complete square and cut that off. Double that in under there. Pull these around. Three, 4. That should have been cut down there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bend that down. Okay. Now we get our thin tie wire. This is 1.25 millimetres. This is not 100% necessary as long as you can hold the 2 traps together with something. A strap around them or tied together or paper clips or whatever, but I usually put these clips on for people to hold them together with. I normally hook it onto the first wire back from the corner and then hook it around the first wire in from the corner. It's immediately underneath the valve where hopefully the bird's not going to bump it and undo it. Same on the other side. Right, now they're held together, so we can just unhook that. Push that one up there out of the road. Bring your main trap down with the entrances in this. Lay the trap on its side, I find easier, with the valves in the opposite side to what you're working on. And going from the top of the trap down, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then cut that 7th one there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down 1, 2, 3, 4, then come in and cut the 2 centre ones down there, up there, 1, 2, 3, 4, then come and cut that wire there under there, and that wire beside there, under that one, and beside that one, then bend them out. Right, having made the hole for our door, I'm now going to put a piece of tie wire, this is 2mm tie wire, around there to strengthen the door up a bit. If you've got a bit of 2mm tie wire, I make this to go around the door to strengthen the door up a bit. If you haven't got tie wire, you may be able to cut some extra bits of mesh and double that over around the door, just to give it that extra strength. It's not necessary, it may be all right without, but I feel that the door gets a lot of use and needs a bit of strengthening up. Right, now we get our door. I always think it's better on the inside because the birds are on the inside pushing out, and that way they're pushing the door shut all the time instead of open. I use a clip or something to hold it up there. Thin tie wire again to make hinges for the door. Right. Now we've got to put a water bottle and what have you in it. A little tin of some sort down in there. Not 100% essential. Some people prefer to put a trough along the outside of the cage and let the birds reach through for that. Now, if you're putting a bottle in, this is where you need your piece of wire that was left over from, was cut off the top a little while ago. You wrap it round there on these little bottles. You'll need 7. This will depend on the size of your bottle, how big this has to be. These little bottles, 7 is plenty. Just make it sits around the bottle like so, and we'll take that piece that we cut out of the door and cut off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or any other pieces that you've got around. Now push that over the top of the bottle. Right, and that just bends down to keep the bottle off the bottom of the trap, bottom of the tin. Fill your bottle with water, put your finger over the hole, put it in and slide so that your finger goes down through the gap in the wire. That's the wire cage that's been put in the corner to hold the bottle until you get it nearly to the bottom, and then just let it drop into the tin. Making sure that the gap in the wire that's wrapped around the bottle is facing towards the door. Makes it a lot easier to put a full bottle of water in, if you can hold your finger over that while you put it in. good idea to have a perch of some sort in, a piece of wood out of your garden, a bit of something, branch, anything will do, something for the birds to sit on. A little bit of wire, what's that, about 30 centimetres long, roughly. Just bend it down at the top, bend it up a little bit at the bottom, and that will go down through and hold that door shut. And that's it. You can now go and catch your miners.